Stuart Donaldson.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker, for the opportunity to address the House today. May I first start by reassuring members that despite my youthful appearance, I've not got lost and wandered in here from a school group. Although I think in the first few weeks members of staff maybe thought I had. It's also getting on a bit, but it's not quite past my bedtime. Indeed, at the tender age of 23, in any normal parliament, I would be the baby of the House. However, due to the election of my honourable friend, the member for Paisley and Renfrewshire South, I feel positively middle-aged. Being the second youngest member, I've missed out on much of the press coverage because nobody cares about the middle child. I'm sure my colleague has been delighted at how much she has got. So for the benefit of the media here, I've got some potential stories. I also have spent some of my salary on fast food, and I've not eaten a chip butty on the terrace, but I've eaten a salad. I don't know if that helps. So I await the articles with interest. I'd like to pay tribute to my predecessor, Sir Robert Smith, who served the constituency of West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine tirelessly for 18 years. Yeah. Sir Robert had a reputation of working hard for his constituents and championing issues that were important to them. That is something I hope to emulate and excel at over the course of this Parliament. I wish Sir Robert well for the future. Yes. Members may not be aware of my family history in this place. My late grandfather, Hamish Watt, served as the MP for Banffshire from 1974 to 1979. I understand that due to his use of the North East dialect of the Doric, Hansard often had a job deciphering exactly what he said. I would like to assure Hansard that my grasp of the Doric is not as assured as that of my grandfather, so you will always ken fit a mean. It was my grandfather who actually first suggested I stand for Parliament, although his suggestion was for the constituency of Gordon. However, I think my right honourable friend had done enough to earn a free shotty at that seat. Mr. Speaker, if I may quote my grandfather's maiden speech, he said, "I understand it is tradition to talk about one's constituency in a maiden speech. If this were not tradition, I would do so anyway." West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine is a diverse and geographically large constituency. From farming, oil and gas to tourism, the constituency is prosperous and pioneering. Although many of my colleagues have claimed the title of the most beautiful constituency, I think we will all find West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine is the most beautiful. Indeed, I'm sure this is endorsed by my constituents who live on the Balmoral estate. Also, with visits from no less than 4 members of the coalition government's front bench during the election campaign, including the former Deputy Prime Minister and the Chancellor, they were all obviously very keen to see for themselves its sheer beauty. It is the royal family that gives the area I grew up in the name Royal Deeside. The gateway to Royal Deeside is Banchory, right in the heart of West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine. Banchory has well-known features such as Sculty Hill with its tower monument and the beautiful Falls of Youth. Banchory is also the birthplace of the famous fiddler James Scott Skinner, who was also asked by Queen Victoria to teach calisthenics to the royal household. My former high school, Banchory Academy, is one of the highest achieving in Scotland. Wikipedia notes notable alumni as top-flight footballers, the founder of the website Mashable, and an Olympic snowboarder. A prestigious and high-quality list, I'm sure you'll agree, although it's somewhat diminished by my name being elected as an honourable member to this place. Despite the... Banchory also has the title of having the most 4x4s per head of population anywhere in the UK. At least they actually need them, unlike the previous title holder, Chelsea. But despite this obvious affluence, there's a food bank in Banchory. I have no doubt that this is due to some of the austerity agenda of the previous government and this one, and the punitive measures inflicted on some of the most vulnerable in our society. Moving up Royal Deeside, we come to Ballater. In the week following my election, there was the shocking news that the historic Ballater Royal Station, used by Queen Victoria, had burnt down. The station was very much a focal point for the village and for tourists coming to the area, and I am pleased to say the station will be rebuilt, and I would like to reassure members and the public that Ballater is still very much open for business, and I should think so for a village with more royal warrants than any other. Mr. Speaker, Madam Deputy Speaker, in the southern part of my constituency we have Stonehaven and the Mearns. Stonehaven is famous for its Art Deco, Olympic-sized, heated, saltwater outdoor swimming pool, the northernmost Lido in the UK. It's also famous for its magnificent Hogmanay Fireball celebration, and it is truly a sight to behold. It is also the birthplace of Robert William Thompson, who at 23 patented the pneumatic tyre. The Mearns is an area immortalised by Lewis Grassic Gibbon in his book Sunset Song. I understand visitors to the Grassic Gibbon Centre are occasionally disappointed to find out it has nothing to do with monkeys. I believe that applies to my honourable friend sitting to my left. But it's still very much worth a visit. Where my constituency meets Aberdeen sits West Hill. West Hill is the global centre of excellence in subsea engineering. The companies based there are the best in the world and export their expertise and skills around the globe. However, even they have been affected by the recent downturn in the oil price. That is why I have and will continue to push the government to work with the industry to ensure stability and long-term employment for this important industry. Afford, in the north of my constituency, hosts a statue of a bull to symbolise the historic connection between the celebrated Aberdeen Angus breed and the town. In fact, it was one of my predecessors, William McCombie, MP for West Aberdeenshire between 1868 and 1876, who is credited as one of the original breeders of Aberdeen Angus cattle. This breed is said to have many good characteristics. They are resistant to harsh weather, adaptable, good-natured, and mature extremely early. I think I share some of these characteristics, although in the last couple of days I've found I'm not so resistant to harsh weather. However, Aberdeen Angus cattle are also said to be undemanding, and I'm sorry to tell the benches opposite, they will not find that from me. Mr. Speaker, Madam Deputy Speaker, I could go on for quite a while about all that West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine has to offer, with many fantastic castles to Craigiebar to Dunnottar, and spectacular mountains such as Loch Nagar and the Cairngorm National Park. There is much that makes West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine a wonderful place to live, work, and of course visit. However, I want to touch briefly on the topic of this debate. Recently, some of my colleagues in the SNP, along with other members of Crosthers Chamber, backed moves to refer to the so-called Islamic State as Daesh. This group is arguably one of the biggest threats to British security. However, it is clear that Trident is not the best way to combat this threat. The UK government needs to realise that it is neither justifiable nor appropriate to continue to spend billions of pounds of public money on an outdated nuclear weapons system. This is the wrong priority for defence spending, and this money could be better spent on our NHS, education system, and ending austerity. We on these benches oppose Trident with the understanding of new challenges we face in terms of international security. But these challenges do not require and would only ever be exacerbated by the threat and use of nuclear weapons. I look forward to the presentation of the Strategic Defence and Security Review and can only hope it will reflect the need to prioritise new and evolving security threats and will include provisions to ensure that the Ministry of Defence engages with the Scottish Government to take account of security concerns affecting the Scottish people. Madam Deputy Speaker, like my stature, I've tried to keep this speech short. It has been an honour to be called on to make my maiden speech today, and I would like to thank you, as well as the constituents of West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine, for giving me the opportunity to speak in this place.